Chosen one, hear this with the full weight of heaven behind it. You are not here by accident. You were summoned. At this very moment, God has aligned your spirit with a divine appointment, a perfect intersection of timing, purpose, and supernatural release. You are standing at the threshold of a holy breakthrough, a realm where renewal, vitality, and God's gift of eternal youth begin to manifest. What once felt delayed is now accelerating. As Isaiah declares, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Chosen one, prepare your spirit. A sacred unveiling is beginning and heaven is moving in your favor right now. Chosen one, when heaven sets its eyes on a life, nothing about that life remains ordinary. And whether you fully realize it yet or not, something ancient and divine has already begun to move around you. I can feel it even as I speak this. There is a stirring, a quickening, a subtle but undeniable shift in your atmosphere. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but your spirit knows. You can sense it in the way your thoughts have been changing, in the way your heart has felt heavier one moment and mysteriously lighter the next, in the way you have been drawn toward messages like this, with a hunger you can't explain. Chosen one, you are not imagining any of it. This is transformation. This is the touch of the Most High reshaping your being from the inside out. And I say this not as someone speaking from a distance, but as someone who has lived through his own seasons of divine interruption. I remember moments in my life when everything felt out of sync, when my strength was drained, when my eyes looked back at me in the mirror, carrying more fatigue than fire, when every step felt like it took twice the effort. And then, without warning and without logic, something shifted. Not through discipline, not through routines, not through sheer physical effort. It was as though something unseen had reached inside and reignited what had been slowly dimming. My clarity returned. My energy resurfaced. My spirit, once tired, began to feel young again. That was the moment I learned something heaven has been whispering to you as well. True renewal is not self-made. It is God-breathed. Chosen one, when the Most High chooses you, He does not simply improve your life, He transforms it. The shift that is coming over you is not cosmetic, not superficial, not temporary. It is divine. It is the kind of renewal that restores the glow in your eyes, steadies your posture, and places a quiet power in your steps. It softens your countenance in ways that cannot be explained by rest or skincare or positive thinking. I've lived long enough to know the difference between self-created confidence and spirit-created vitality. What God is doing in you belongs to the latter. This is renewal that does not come from striving, but from surrender. It does not come from chasing results, but from being aligned with the one who holds time itself. And yes, others will notice. That is the nature of divine renewal. It refuses to remain hidden. Not because you're trying to show it, but because heaven cannot touch a person without leaving evidence. Those around you, family, co-workers, strangers, may look at you and sense something is different, even if they can't articulate it. Some will say you look rested, though you've slept no more than usual. Some will say you look lighter, though you've carried the same responsibilities. Some will say your presence feels peaceful, though your circumstances may not have fully changed yet. Chosen one. This is what happens when God begins to restore what time, stress, and life have tried to steal. The world loves to measure youth through years, but heaven measures it through vitality. Renewal is not about reversing your age. It is about restoring your essence. That fire within you, the one that life tried to dim, is being reignited. That strength you thought you lost is returning. That clarity that once guided you but felt distant these past months is rising again. I know this because I've walked through it, and because the presence of God carries patterns. He moves through His chosen ones in ways that echo across generations. And right now, you are standing inside that holy pattern. Even your spirit has begun to reject the things that drain you. Have you noticed that certain conversations, certain habits, certain environments suddenly feel heavy or misaligned? That is not random. That is the pruning process, a sacred refinement that prepares you for what heaven is restoring. It can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like loss. But in truth, it is God making room for the vitality, clarity, and purpose that is returning to your life. Chosen one. What is happening inside you is not decay, it is resurrection. You are not wearing out, you are awakening. And the more you surrender to this divine renewal, the more your life, your mind, your body, your spirit will begin to align with the youthful strength God is releasing over you. You are stepping into a fresh season of supernatural vitality. A season where the years no longer define you, where heaviness cannot hold you, and where the touch of God becomes visible in the very way you carry yourself. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every divinely chosen life where the shift is no longer subtle. It becomes unmistakable. You begin to recognize that what is happening within you is not merely emotional, not psychological, not physical. It is spiritual, initiated by the hand of the Almighty. You start noticing it in small ways first. A peace that settles on you for no logical reason. A clarity of thought that feels almost supernatural. A sense of alignment, like your spirit has finally caught up to a timing heaven prepared long before you understood the journey. This is not imagination, chosen one. This is divine renewal taking form in you. And I want to share something personal with you because I believe lived experience anchors prophetic truth. There was a season in my life when I felt stretched thin. Not because of chaos or crisis, but because my soul felt tired. I kept showing up, kept moving, kept fulfilling responsibilities, but inwardly I felt drained. People around me would tell me I looked fine, but inwardly I knew I needed something beyond human solutions. And in that season, God began a work in me that I didn't recognize at first. It started with peace, quiet, grounding, unexplainable. Then came clarity. Thoughts that once felt tangled suddenly became simple. Then came strength, an internal vitality that no diet, no workout, no motivational phrase had ever given me. It was only later I realized I was living what I now see in you. Heaven had begun restoring me long before I understood it, and that is what's happening in your life right now. You are being renewed from the inside out, touched by the same hand that breathed life into creation. You may not fully understand what is changing, but your spirit knows it's real. Chosen. One divine renewal is never loud. It is quiet, authoritative, subtle, but powerful. It isn't about becoming a new version of yourself. It's about becoming the true version of yourself, the one God ordained before the world tried to shape you through pressure, pain, and expectations. When God touches your life in this way, you begin to shed the layers that never belonged to you. You begin to rediscover the vitality that was buried under years of survival. You begin to glow not with cosmetics or compliments, but with an inner light that only heaven can ignite. And yes, this glow is real. It's the kind Moses carried when he descended the mountain. It's the kind that made people stop up and stare, sensing something divine but unable to explain it. You too will carry a glow that draws attention, not because of beauty standards, but because of spiritual radiance. Your presence will speak even when your mouth is silent. Your eyes will hold a peace that others try to understand but cannot replicate. Chosen one, heaven is marking you. But here is something many people don't understand about divine renewal. It affects the physical realm as much as the spiritual. When your spirit is refreshed, your body responds, your shoulders relax, your breath deepens, your face softens. The heaviness you've been carrying, stress, fatigue, worry, begins to lift. The body obeys the Spirit when the Spirit of God is in command. That is why people will say you look younger, lighter, more vibrant, even if you've changed nothing externally. This is what I experienced myself, and it's what you are stepping into now. Chosen one, heaven is not restoring you for vanity. Heaven is restoring you for purpose. The renewal you're receiving is preparation for the next assignment God is sending your way. When Joseph was elevated, he did not rise through strength alone. He rose with a presence that carried the weight of heaven. That presence is what you are receiving. Your renewal is your announcement. Your transformation is your preparation. Your glow is your confirmation. There will be moments when resistance rises, not because you are failing, but because your spirit is outgrowing environments that once felt normal. What drains you now is what God is removing. What feels uncomfortable is what God is exposing. What feels heavy is what God is calling you out of. This is the pruning process, and though it may stretch you, it is sacred. It is making room for more clarity, more strength, more youthfulness, more purpose. And chosen one, let me tell you something truth has taught me. The pruning always comes before the blooming. The shedding always precedes the shining. Heaven always clears a space before it pours out a blessing. Your spirit has already begun this shift, and soon your life will reflect it in undeniable ways. You are not declining, you are ascending. You are not fading, you are emerging. You are not aging, you are awakening. You are not breaking, you are becoming. Chosen one. There is a truth about divine transformation that few ever fully understand. It does not arrive gently. It reveals itself slowly, then suddenly. One moment you are simply living, moving, surviving, and the next you realize heaven has pulled you into a deeper process, a holy transition that reorders everything within you. And whether you have recognized it or not, that is exactly where you are. You're standing inside a spiritual realignment that is touching not only your mind and your heart, but the very rhythm of your life. There were seasons when I too felt this shift without the language to describe it. Times when familiar environments began to feel foreign. Times when conversations that once entertained me suddenly drained me. Times when people I once felt close to no longer understood the direction my spirit was moving in. At first, I thought something was wrong, but later I realized something was right. Heaven was calling me higher, and chosen one, that same calling rests on you now. This is why you have outgrown habits that once felt comforting. This is why your spirit feels restless in places you used to tolerate. This is why silence feels safer than noise, why solitude feels richer than crowds. God is refining you, not punishing you, but preparing you, not isolating you, but elevating you, not removing people to hurt you, but removing distractions to protect you. Divine transformation always begins with divine separation. Chosen one, you may not realize it, but this separation is part of your renewal. When heaven begins to pour fresh strength into a person, that person can no longer remain in the same patterns. You are being guided out of old cycles, cycles of exhaustion, cycles of self-doubt, cycles of allowing others to drain your light. You are being led into a season where your spirit must be guarded like treasure. Because what God is giving you now is too sacred for careless hands and too powerful for the wrong environments. And I want you to hear this clearly. The discomfort you're feeling is not decline. It is awakening. The tiredness you felt before wasn't weakness. It was misalignment. The relationships that have shifted weren't losses. They were release points. You are not falling apart. You are shedding what cannot stay with you in the next chapter. I remember a moment in my own life when I tried to hold on to what God was pruning. I clung to friendships that had expired, routines that had lost life mindsets that were too small for the future God was shaping. And the more I clung, the heavier I felt. But the moment I surrendered, truly surrendered, the shift became undeniable. Clarity returned, peace resurfaced, strength bloomed again. And I began to understand a divine principle I now speak over your life. What God removes is never meant to diminish you. It is meant to refine you. Chosen one. As this refinement unfolds, you will begin to notice new signs of renewal. You will feel lighter, not because life is easy, but because your spirit is aligned. You will feel younger, not because of changes in your body, but because your soul is breathing again. You will feel more focused, not because distractions disappeared on their own, but because heaven has sharpened your discernment. This is supernatural youthfulness, the kind that does not depend on age, but on divine vitality. And listen carefully, with this renewal comes elevation. Heaven does not restore you without reason. Your transformation is connected to an assignment, a promotion, a divine opportunity that requires a renewed version of you. You are being prepared to walk into environments you once felt unworthy of. You are being strengthened to carry responsibilities that once overwhelmed you. You are being refined to step into roles that once felt too big for you. This is why the old version of you had to fade. This is why the tiredness had to break. This is why the heaviness had to lift. A new identity is rising in you, not created by circumstances, but revealed by God. Chosen one, let this truth settle deeply. You are not who you were 6 months ago. You are not who you were yesterday. Heaven has begun a work in you that cannot be undone, and the world will soon see the evidence of a life touched by divine renewal. Chosen one, as this divine renewal deepens, another layer of transformation is beginning to unfold within you. It is subtle, but it is powerful. It touches not only how you feel, but how you see yourself, how you interpret your past, and how you imagine your future. This phase of transformation is what I call the inner unveiling, the moment when God allows you to see the strength, resilience, and spiritual authority that has been developing inside you all along. Many people walk through life unaware of the magnitude of who they truly are. They see their mistakes, their exhaustion, their aging, their limitations, but they rarely see their anointing. They rarely see how heaven sees them. And chosen one, for a long time, that was you too. You saw the weight of your journey, but not the glory being formed through it. You felt the fatigue, but not the fire underneath it. You noticed the years passing, but not the divine renewal quietly rising within you. But now, heaven is pulling back the veil. Now your eyes are opening, not just to God's power, but to your own God-given identity. And let me tell you something personal, this unveiling can be overwhelming. I remember the moment I first felt it. I was sitting alone, reflecting on my life, and suddenly it was as though God allowed me to see myself as He saw me, not broken, not tired, not lost, but chosen, refined, strengthened, prepared. I realized then that my entire journey had not weakened me, it had fortified me, and chosen one, that revelation is coming to you now. You are beginning to see that every battle shaped your endurance. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every heartbreak expanded your compassion. Every delay trained your patience. And every loss carved space for greater glory. What once felt like seasons of suffering were actually seasons of preparation. You weren't breaking, you were being built. Chosen one. This revelation alone is part of your renewal. Youthfulness is not just about energy, it's about understanding. When clarity enters a person's life, their face softens. When purpose becomes visible, their posture straightens. When self-worth is restored, their eyes brighten. Heaven is restoring your internal compass, and your physical presence will mirror that restoration. But here is where the transformation becomes truly supernatural. As your identity aligns with truth, your spirit begins to move with a renewed boldness. You stop apologizing for who you are. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop viewing your life through the lens of fear. You start walking with holy confidence, the kind that is gentle but unshakable. The kind that doesn't need attention because it carries authority. The kind that doesn't boast because it knows its worth. Chosen. One, people around you will feel this shift before you fully recognize it. They will notice a calmness in your presence, a steadiness in your decisions, a clarity in your voice. Some will be drawn to it. Others will be intimidated by it. But all will sense that something in you has changed. And that is because heaven has touched you in ways the world cannot replicate. This inner boldness is not pride, it is alignment. When a person knows who they are in God, they stop moving like a victim and start moving like anointed royalty. They stop stumbling through life and start walking with direction. They stop fearing the future and start preparing for it. And this is the part I need you to feel deeply. Your renewal is not only about strengthening you, it is about positioning you. Heaven is elevating you into a season where your presence will matter, where your voice will matter, where your decisions will shape not only your future, but the futures of those connected to you. You are being refined for leadership, for influence, for responsibility, not worldly, but divine. Chosen one, renewal without purpose is incomplete. But what God is doing in you is complete, intentional and prophetic. This inner unveiling is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. And once this bridge is crossed, your life will never return to its old patterns. You are stepping into identity. You are stepping into clarity. You are stepping into spiritual authority. You are stepping into divine youthfulness, strength that transcends age, vitality that defies logic, peace that transforms your very countenance. Chosen one, this is your becoming. Chosen one, as this transformation deepens, something even more profound begins to awaken within you, the realization that divine timing has been governing your life far more precisely than you ever understood. The moments you thought were delays were actually alignments. The seasons you thought were empty were actually sacred incubations. And the times when you felt forgotten were the very moments heaven was preparing your breakthrough. You are now stepping into a revelation that only the refined, the surrendered, and the spiritually awakened ever get to experience. God was never late. He was preparing you. I know how hard that truth is to embrace when you are walking through the silent years. I remember my own seasons of waiting moments when I felt stuck between who I used to be and who I was becoming. Those years felt like a holding pattern, like nothing was moving, like my strength was draining faster than it was being replenished. But now, looking back, I can see clearly that those seasons were necessary. They were the deep work of heaven, the unseen shaping that laid the foundation for every breakthrough that followed. And chosen one, that is exactly where you stand. You are emerging from a spiritual winter into a divine spring. The seeds that were buried in you, dreams, strength, purpose, vitality are surfacing. You may not feel completely renewed yet, but the process is already in motion. The heaviness you carried for so long is beginning to unravel. The confusion is lifting, the fog is thinning, something in your spirit is waking up, stretching, breathing again. This is the beginning of your divine renewal. What many people misunderstand about transformation is that it does not always start with joy. Often it begins with disruption, relationships shift, habits break down, old identities fall away, and this can feel like loss. But chosen one, hear me clearly, heaven never subtracts without the intention to multiply. What God has removed from your life recently, whether people, environments, or internal patterns, was cleared because your future demanded it. The renewed you could not be built on old foundations. And this is where divine youth begins to take form, not as vanity, not as pursuit, but as spiritual alignment. When God restores you, He does it from the spirit outward. Your mind becomes lighter, your emotions steadier, your body more energized. You begin to rise earlier, breathe deeper, think clearer, trust more freely. You begin to walk with an ease that surprises even you. I've walked through this myself, days where I felt like I was shedding years of exhaustion in a single moment, as though heaven had breathed fresh life into places I thought were permanently worn out. Chosen. One, this renewal is not temporary. It is not a flash of inspiration that fades. It is a divine recalibration, and as this takes root, you will notice that your desires begin to shift as well. You will crave peace over chaos, purpose over distraction, alignment over approval. Your spirit will begin to reject anything that drains your glow, people who speak negatively, environments that dim your fire, habits that lower your frequency. This is evidence that heaven is restoring you. But here is where the transformation becomes even more supernatural. As your spirit awakens, so does your destiny. The opportunities that were delayed now begin to find you. The doors that remained closed suddenly open. The clarity you begged God for arrives without effort. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing catching up with your preparation. And let me speak a truth into your spirit. Your renewal is not only for you, it is setting the stage for a divine assignment. When Joseph was lifted from the prison, he did not rise because of charisma. He rose because of divine alignment. When Moses encountered God, he did not glow for his own sake. He glowed for the mission ahead. Your renewal is a sign that heaven is positioning you for something bigger, something that requires strength, clarity, and spiritual youthfulness to carry. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season where your presence will change atmospheres, where your voice will matter, where your resilience will inspire others, where your glow will testify of God's hand on your life. You are not just being renewed, you are being commissioned. This is your rise. This is your return. This is your divine reawakening. Chosen one, as this divine renewal unfolds, there is another truth rising within you, one that marks a turning point in every chosen life. You are beginning to recognize that you have survived seasons that were meant to break you. And not only did you endure them, you emerged from them with a strength that is now becoming visible even to you. The very battles that drained you, the moments that aged your spirit, the years that felt heavy upon your shoulders, they are now becoming the evidence of your resilience. Heaven is not simply renewing you. Heaven is vindicating you. There is a specific kind of youthfulness that emerges only from those who have passed through fire and come out refined. It is not the glow of innocence, it is the glow of wisdom. It is not the lightness of naivete, it is the lightness of someone who has laid their burdens down. It is not the shine of easy seasons. It is the shine of someone who knows what survival costs and still chooses hope. Chosen one, that is the strength rising in you now, a strength that is quiet, dignified, and supernatural. I know this kind of renewal personally. I remember a time when life carved deep lines into my spirit. I carried hurts that felt too old to heal, disappointments that felt too heavy to shake, and memories that aged me far beyond my years. People around me saw the tiredness, even when I tried to hide it behind routine work or forced positivity. But when God began to restore me, something remarkable happened. The heaviness that once defined me began to dissolve. Little by little, I felt lighter. My laughter returned, my face softened, my eyes brightened. I looked in the mirror and realized I didn't just feel younger, I looked younger. Not because time reversed, but because the weight of time had lifted. Chosen one, that is the journey God is leading you through now. Heaven is removing the invisible burdens that have been aging your spirit. Stress ages, fear ages, worry ages. But when peace enters, youth returns. When clarity enters, glow returns. When purpose enters, vitality returns. You are not just being restored physically, you are being restored emotionally, spiritually, energetically. The light that is coming back to you is not borrowed, it is divine. And here is what makes your transformation even more powerful. The shift happening inside you will not remain hidden. People around you will begin to notice before you do. They will look at you and say you seem lighter. They will notice a calmness in the way you speak. They will feel a gentleness in your presence that wasn't there before. Some may assume you've made lifestyle changes. Others may think you've simply been resting. But chosen one, you and I know the truth. This radiance is not man-made. It is God-given. But with renewal comes revelation. Not everyone can accompany you into this new chapter. Your renewed spirit will begin to expose what is draining, what is misaligned, what is no longer meant to be part of your journey. People who once felt familiar may begin to feel distant. Environments that once seemed comfortable may now feel heavy. Conversations that once entertained you may now feel empty. This is not rejection, it is elevation. When God is restoring your glow, He also protects your light. And hear this deeply, the new vitality rising in you is not for vanity or attention, it is for mission. When God restores youth, He restores assignment. When He restores strength, He restores calling. When He restores clarity, He restores purpose. You are stepping into a season where your renewed presence will play a role in the lives of others. You will bring peace where there was anxiety. You will carry clarity into places filled with confusion. You will walk with authority in spaces that once intimidated you. Chosen one. The youth God is giving you is not a return, it is an upgrade. It is a divine calibration that aligns your body, mind, and spirit with the destiny ahead. The years you thought were wasted have been redeemed. The fatigue you carried has been lifted. And the glow that is returning is not temporary, it is a long-lasting mark of heaven's touch. You are not just being renewed. You are being reintroduced to yourself, to your purpose, and to the world. Chosen one, as this renewal continues to unfold within you, something even more sacred begins to rise, a confidence that does not come from achievement, validation, or appearance, but from identity. This is the confidence of someone who has walked through darkness and still carries light. Someone who has been pressed but not destroyed. Someone who has been stretched but not broken. Someone who has endured storms that others never even saw. And yet here you stand, softer but stronger, quieter but deeper, humbled, yet undeniably elevated. This kind of confidence is not loud. It does not need to announce itself. It is the holy assurance that settles in your bones when you finally understand who walks with you, who covers you, who strengthens you, who renews you. And chosen one, that assurance is beginning to rise in you now. You can feel it in the way you breathe, in the way you think, in the way you process decisions. There is a steadiness emerging, an inner grounding that was not always there. You used to second-guess yourself, double-check your worth, shrink around strong personalities. But now there is a quiet fire within you, a knowing, a grounding, a presence. I've lived this shift myself. I remember the days I walked into rooms feeling invisible, small, unsure. Even when I spoke truth, I felt like I needed permission to exist. But when God began renewing me, mind, body, and spirit, everything changed. I didn't suddenly become louder or more forceful. I simply became aligned. My voice found clarity. My steps found stability. My decisions found confidence. And the world around me responded, not because I changed who I was, but because I finally allowed myself to become who I had always been. Chosen. One Heaven is doing the same with you. You are stepping into a season where you will no longer dim your light to make others comfortable, nor will you shrink your greatness to avoid intimidation. You will walk with dignity, not pride. You will carry peace, not timidity. You will speak with clarity, not fear. Your presence alone will shift atmospheres, not because you seek power, but because you carry purpose. And here is a truth you must embrace: the renewal God has given you comes with responsibility. You are no longer the person who moves impulsively or reacts emotionally. You are being shaped into someone who moves with discernment, with intention, with spiritual authority. Your words will carry weight, your presence will carry influence, and your choices will carry destiny. But do not be afraid of this responsibility. Heaven never calls without equipping. What God is placing on your life now, this radiance, this youthfulness, this clarity, this inner fire, is preparation for the assignments ahead. You will inspire people without trying. You will comfort people without effort. You will lead people without forcing. Your renewed spirit will do the work. Chosen one. The glow that is rising in you is not the end, it is the beginning. It is the signal that heaven is not only restoring you but positioning you. You are stepping into a chapter where you will not walk like someone who barely survived, but like someone who has been divinely revived. You are becoming, you are unfolding, you are stepping into your divine stature. Chosen one, as we step into this final movement of your transformation, there is a revelation you must let settle deeply into your spirit. You are no longer waiting for renewal to come. You are standing inside it. What once felt distant is now unfolding within you quietly but powerfully. You are living in the beginning of a new spiritual era, and the light rising inside you is the first evidence that heaven has already spoken your name. Every chosen life reaches a moment when the inner shift becomes undeniable, not because circumstances have suddenly changed, but because you have. You begin responding differently to battle, to silence, to pressure. You carry burdens differently. Your thoughts soften. Your fears loosen their grip. Your breathing becomes deeper. Something within you begins to settle into a calm that does not make sense. That calm is renewal. That clarity is youth returning. That steadiness is the Spirit of God strengthening what life once tried to weaken. I remember entering this stage in my own journey. There was no dramatic sign, no miraculous display, just a quiet morning where I looked at my reflection and realized I no longer looked burdened. My eyes were brighter, my face was softer, my posture was stronger. I didn't look younger because time reversed. I looked younger because the weight I had carried for years had finally lifted. Heaven had done in me what no effort or routine could ever achieve. Chosen one, that same renewal is rising in you right now. Maybe you've already sensed it. The heaviness around your spirit is loosening. The confusion that clouded your thoughts is clearing. The emotional fatigue that made life feel heavy is dissolving. These are not coincidences. These are signs that God is restoring the parts of you that exhaustion tried to dim. When heaven renews someone, the transformation begins in the invisible, but becomes visible over time. And yet renewal is not just a gift, it is a calling. God does not refresh you for comfort alone, He refreshes you for purpose. You are entering a season where your presence will carry more weight than your words. People will feel peace when you walk into a room. They will sense clarity around you. They will notice a glow that cannot be explained by sleep skincare or self-improvement. What they are witnessing is spiritual vitality, a radiance that heaven places only on those who have endured, surrendered, and risen. But chosen one renewal also requires release. You cannot carry this new glow into old environments. Your spirit will begin rejecting anything that drains it. Conversations filled with negativity, relationships rooted in fear, environments built on chaos. This is not you becoming distant, it is you becoming aligned. God is protecting your spirit because He is preparing your future. And your future is bigger than you think. Doors that were closed will open. Opportunities that were delayed will appear. Relationships that elevate you will align. Your renewed strength is not random, it is strategic. Heaven is preparing you to step into assignments that require clarity, resilience, and a youthful spirit, unburdened by yesterday. This final stage of your transformation is what I call the becoming. It is when you shed the old version of yourself, the tired one, the doubtful one, the burdened one, and rise fully into who you were destined to be. You will walk differently, you will speak differently, you will see life differently, because you are no longer operating from depletion, you are operating from divine restoration. Chosen one, hear this clearly. You cannot return to who you were. You have come too far. You have been refined too deeply. Heaven has invested too much in you. You're not only renewed, you're reintroduced. Not only restored, you're reassigned. Not only revived, you're reborn in strength. Walk forward in this new identity. Walk with the divine youth rising in your spirit. Walk as one chosen and renewed for such a time as this. Chosen one. As we come to the end of this sacred moment, let your spirit remain open to what heaven has already begun. You are not leaving this video the same way you entered it. A divine renewal has been activated within you. The breath of God is settling into your bones, your mind, your countenance, your future. What you feel stirring right now is not emotion, it is confirmation. You have stepped into your Kairos moment, your divinely appointed time, and heaven is moving in ways your eyes have not yet seen. Chosen one. The supernatural transfer of strength, vitality, and divine youth is already unfolding. Walk gently now, for you are carrying something holy. Heaven has touched you, heaven has marked you, heaven has aligned you for what comes next. Stand in this renewal with reverence, receive it with gratitude, protect it with obedience, and move forward with the quiet confidence of someone anointed, chosen, and divinely upheld. If your spirit has been awakened, speak it. Type Amen as a declaration of alignment. Share this word only if you feel led, so it may reach another chosen one walking through their own awakening. And subscribe only if your heart desires to stay connected to the flow of what God is releasing in this space. Until we meet again, walk in your restored strength, rest in your renewed spirit, and remember this truth: wherever you go, you are chosen, you are covered, and you are stepping into a season where the impossible becomes your inheritance.